Welcome to our video series, Hiding Behind the Mask, Conversations on Shame and Narcissism, combining psychological and spiritual perspectives. This is a 12-part series moderated by Dr. Kristen Seavey and featuring the insight of Reverend Robert Hirschfield, Episcopal Bishop of New Hampshire, and Dr. Patricia Gianotti, clinical psychologist and author. Each video segment will begin with a brief introduction by Dr. Seavey, where she will describe an overview of the content material. At the end of each section, a set of questions will appear on your screen. These questions are meant for personal reflection, or you may use the questions as a springboard for small group discussion. We hope you enjoy this series. And now, Dr. Seavey.
This final segment addresses the need for people to be reminded of their essential goodness, that forgiveness, repentance, and atonement are available to us because we are human and stumble on the path. Humans are fallible and never outgrow the need for reassurance and a reestablishment of a sense of safety when it is lost along life's path.
You talked about, the freeingness of being able to speak things. And so I'm going back to the church and thinking, what about confession?
Yeah. What about confession? I should ask, I'm
raised Episcopal.
You raised Episcopal, okay. So my experience of confession is not the same experience that many Roman Catholics have had, which is you come in and you're obligated, you can't take communion unless you've had confession. We actually don't call it confession. We call it the rite of reconciliation. And I actually make it it's a personal practice of mine, because I need the kind of spiritual house cleaning. I need to be told and assured again and again, not that I'm a mistake, not that the past mistakes are still enslaving me, but that I am loved. And that each of the mistakes and each of the experiences of shame that I've had actually lead me deeper and deeper into the mystery of a God who I can't believe loves me. So in that sense, it has a powerful effect and benefit. In some ways, the face-to-face model in a private room where there is a seal of confession, what is said here stays here, has been, the power of that has been replaced or adopted in the therapeutic practice. But I get to say, as somebody who has heard confessions and who makes confessions, I get to say this is about God's unmitigated, unlimited love. And that's a love that is stronger than death, and it's a love that's stronger than anything I've done. And if it means that I've got to live with courage and make amends for things I've done, then I can do that in the sure and certain knowledge that God's going to be with me, even facing certain consequences. So that's a pitch for confession, but it doesn't have that effect for everybody. A lot of folks have the same, have the kind of image from the movies or from their own experience, which is one of control, of shaming, of making it a kind of rote transaction. You confess this. There's actually a manual in the medieval church. For that sin, you get X number of, this is your penance. There were books called penitentiaries, which would not, penitentiaries, right? In seminary grads, which would outline for this offense, you're assigned this penance. We don't do that. This is about assuring one's soul. It's therapeutic. It's psychotherapeutic in that sense of the word, of soul building, soul repairing relationship strengthening.
I like your use of the word reassurance. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't need or outgrows the need for reassurance. So I'm limited, I screwed up, I made a mistake, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're loved anyway.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Giving that reassurance.
Yeah. And even sometimes the reassurance is, yeah, that was a real mess. That, you know, take that seriously. The way you said that to your wife, that's not really allowed. And you are an agent. And you know, your words have power.
Yeah.
And so let's take this seriously, as God would take it seriously, for your own healing and that of your relationships. So it's not like a cheap grace kind of thing. It's actually, you know, you roll up your sleeves and let's get into this. And for the sake of, for the healing of the world.
I like the tradition, the Jewish tradition around Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where you go out and you make amends. I mean, there's a sorting through and a reflecting, and you're knocking on your neighbor's doors to make amends before you begin the new year, sort of cleaning up old business and not letting it hang on. And in a way, that seems like the confessional process.
Steve's question about the recovered narcissist, I have a very brief story where I made a decision as the rector of a church. We are going to move the altar from here to here, and I have the authority of the vestry, I have the authority of my bishop, I can do this, I'm doing it, boom, we're going to do it. And one midweek service, an elderly gentleman, Harry Beale, lovely soul, he would only come to church on Wednesday afternoon, and he came to me after the service when he first did this, and he said, Rob, that was a really, moving the altar there, that's a really stupid thing to do. And I was just like, I was slighted, I felt accused, I felt, you know, you can't talk to me like that, I'm the rector of this church. I mean, it was just my own grandiosity. So we left, I walked away, I stormed off. That was Wednesday. I figured he'd be back the following Wednesday. Thursday came around, and I began to feel like there's a disturbance in the force. Like there's something not right. And then it kept kind of chewing on me. Like, did I handle that well? Does he have a point? Boy, I'm mad at him. And it went on, and then, you know, Tuesday was rolling around. I said, maybe I could get another priest to take that service so I don't have to encounter him. You know, I was just like, could we avoid this? And then what happened was Wednesday came around a few minutes before the service, and Harry came up to me and he said, you know, I'm not at peace with you, and it's breaking my heart. I said something kind of mean, and you flew off the handle, and we haven't talked, and I've been feeling it all week. And I was like, really? Yeah, that's exactly what, and we kind of fell into each other's arms. That was confession. And he made, because I was so weak and so narcissistic, I wasn't able to have the strength to make the confession, but he made it for me. And he later developed a throat cancer, and he had his larynx removed, and then he died, and he lost his voice. And I've always, but the words, Rob, I'm not at peace with you and it's breaking my heart, is something it echoes through the ages. And, you know, where do we see that in our society?
Right. Our foibles are opportunities, you know, but we miss the opportunities.
Yeah.
But when someone does that for you because of your own narcissistic limitation, when someone does that for you, you can then do it after that.
Yeah, right.
It's modeling.
Right, in model, yeah.
Because the power of the relationship and him affecting you changed you.
Yep, changed me. Yep.
If we can really see our foibles as opportunities to be humble and to be honest about how broken we all are.
Augustine referred to this as felix culpa. Oh, happy fault. Oh, happy fault.
Yeah.
Because it's brought me closer to the abundance of God's grace, to the feeling of forgiveness, which I would not have experienced had I not screwed up to begin with.
Right.
The following questions are meant to stimulate personal reflection or small group discussion. We encourage you to capture a screenshot of these questions and use them for future reference. To order Dr. Gianotti's books, please contact the following websites. And Reverend Hirschfield's book is available through churchpublishing.org.